Hi there. If you're watching this, you're probably not watching it live anymore, but welcome. We're going to sew up a bottle up sling. I think I've got a pattern picture here. Bottle up sling. And we're going to just make one slight variation. The bottle up part here, we're not going to put that in. I just want to make sure that my sound is working. It is. All right. And just a moment here, I will show you all of the pieces. I have made 3 of these, and each one I did not put that bottle holder on it, just because I knew from the get-go that I wasn't going to use that. It just isn't anything that I would use extended on a sling like that. I would want it inside a big tote. But I'm a big tote person, so... Okay. So let's see what we have here. So the very front of the bag is going to have a slip pocket, and this is the front of it, and here's the inside of it. So it'll be like that. Just put that here. Then the front and back of the bag will be the same color on this one, which is this. It's the vinyl, but it's navy. I don't know if you can tell. It really is navy. So, and then this is the inside of the bag. This vinyl and this lining is a product of Tulip Bee, and I have linked her shop down in the description. Inside the bag is a zipper pocket, and it's constructed. You take this piece, fold it, and you put the zipper in the middle here. So this is the outside of it and the inside of it. Right. And what else we got here? Oh, yeah. The back of the bag, same as the front. On the back of the bag is a zipper pocket. It's kind of hidden because it's against your body usually. And these are the lining pieces to go inside that. A couple card slot pieces that go inside on the opposite side of the zipper slip pouch. These are the zipper, what do they call these? Zipper panel lining. Exterior, interior, and then gusset. Exterior, interior. It's not very complicated, but it's a pretty slick bag, I think. All right. And I haven't made it for a while. Oh, I probably should show some of these things. So I also have, I think these are, they hold the D-rings on the back so that you can attach the adjustable strap on the back on the bottom either side. This holds the strap at the top on the back. Then we've got the actual strap, and we've got zippers, hardware, black hardware. Oops. A name tag. And the inside is bound, meaning we don't sew it inside out and then flip it right side out. We actually sew it together, and then we put binding on the edges. Gives it more structure, and sometimes they're just written that way. But I don't have any blue that matches, so we're going to use white. And I haven't prepped anything other than cutting out the pattern, so this is a sublimated polyester that I've just added one layer of interfacing to this. The front, I did add one more layer of interfacing wherever it went. There it is. And I didn't add like a really thick one or anything. I just added a second. So it's a little more stiff. Not real stiff. That's unnecessary, but these are the only two pieces that we're going to be making up that front pocket. So I wanted them to be a little substantial. Nothing major. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to try and follow the pattern. So if you're sewing along, you can too. So it's, I didn't iron this on yet. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to iron this interfacing on. Let this heat up. I'm going to trim this down. I think it's a little too big. I don't want it to be the same size. I forgot my keyboard and mouse and stuff are right here. Let's move those out of the way. So I'm just going to trim this all the way around a little bit. There's no need to have it when I'm going to fold it over. Okay, I think that'll be good. Okay, let me get this ironed on. So we're going to snip right into the corner here on both sides. Oh boy, I forgot to mention to the boys. I'm live. Oh boy. So they laugh. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Usually these interfacing pieces are a lot smaller, but there was no instruction for that. And I apologize for the entertainment in the background. A little perturbed that they feel that it's funny. That's okay. I'll go make Mike listen to this live, and he can determine how funny it is. Well, sorry, off to a slow start here. I think next time I will cut the piece out and actually measure how much to fold out, because it just didn't. Should have taken off more. It's okay. It's just glued down, no problem. Hi. Oh, you heard them. Hey, I have a mic on. Can you hear me any better? Yes. Very good. Did I just freeze? I don't know. Double-sided tape around these two sides to fold them in. Okay. You're welcome. It's early enough. You haven't had to use your phone holder yet, right? I realized all of my videos have been very simple things, and but I'm nervous to do anything bigger because, well, like this one, I haven't made this one for months, so I'm trying to go off of instructions and memory. Okay, see how that was clipped there, so I can fold these down and glue them on there. Okay. And they go together like that. but not before I put my D-ring on there. One of my D-rings. Like that. And then I think it just, make sure I'm not getting this in the picture. Okay, and I also just realized I didn't consider my thread yet. And it's a different blue. I think that's better. Good, good, good. I've got lots of bobbins already wound. It's still not the right color though. But sometimes I get a little too picky because I'm not really gonna. I don't like that color. I might just have to go with black because it's honestly, it's almost a dark teal, the way that it matches my coloring. I think we're just going to go with black for now. I might use a different color only when I get to the strap because I don't want to use black on that. So just, what did I do with my bobbins? Who knows? You're not coming over here. Whoa. I was about done there. I don't think I could have caught that one any closer. Can't. You can't see it. Never mind. Let's make sure there's no little tiny drops of oil ready to attach itself to my fabric. All right, so this I'm just going to sew a trapezoid. Mm-hmm. Okay. It doesn't say. Okay. Sometimes sewing next to the hardware is pretty tricky, so you can cheat by backing up to get away from the hardware. Trapezoid cinched in there good. Okay. Oops, I'm going to need the other D-ring connectors. Maybe. Nope. So I'm just going to draw a line down the middle of these. Put a piece of double-sided tape down that line on top of it. I'm going to fold both edges into the center line. And this is going to get a decorative stitch, which means instead of down and back, we're going to do that twice. So it will have 4 stitch lines. Made it just in time. My thread broke. My bobbin thread broke. Does not like to be loose like this. Sometimes it just happens. Come on. All better. And here are our two debriding holders for the back on the bottom. So the adjustable strap will be able to clip onto one side or the other. So you can sling on either shoulder. Okay. Next. I'm not making the strap right now because I have the wrong color thread in. And, excuse me, the cup holder that we're not doing is the very first thing. So, skip. Okay, I can do this one. Zipper gusset assembly. So we need zipper and the gussets. So I need some zipper pulls. No worries. You know, that's the nice thing about these live videos is that you can watch and do your own thing and then comment when you need to. Okay. I forgot my zipper. Those are short. Long zipper. It's a long gusset. Top and bottom. Yep. Yep. Okay. All right. Easy peasy. Now, I may have mentioned in another video that I don't like to change my foot on my machine to do zippers that call for a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So usually the half inch is not half, the 1/4 inch is just fine. But every once in a while, like this, I'm probably going to sew these up and then I'm going to try and match it to the gusset, and this is going to be smaller than the zipper. So I'm just going to go trim it. That's still easier than trying to switch out this foot, in my opinion. And the really cool thing about putting your own zippers on, as long as you remember, you can sew this all together, not the bottom gusset, but the top gusset, the zipper gusset. You can sew it all together before you have to put your zippers on, because every time you put a zipper on, it creates a bulge. And I think this is going to be easier on this one. And that bulge just creates problems to get around without, you don't want a wavy zipper. So a zipper gusset like this allows you to put it all together before you put the pulls on. So I'm going to do this on the one side of both the top and the lining. Really, I love making these videos, and if I can show a few people that they too can make these if they really wanted to, they're not that difficult. They're just a step-by-step. Do this direction and then do this direction, and you can get into some that are more complicated, but once you try enough of these, you gain some confidence, and then you try some other things that might have a spot that's difficult. So then you go find somebody on YouTube that has done it, and you can verify you know what you're doing. It's just so fun to have this awesome looking bag when you're all done. It's like, what? I made that? I'm still surprised sometimes when I get done with the bag. Ooh, I finished one of those other beauty bags from the other night. Sorry, squirrel. And this one, so this is that one that has the marbled velvet on the side. And so this one, when I got the two panels together, I added some foam. It's really thin foam, but it's adhesive. But I cut that out and I put it on, and so it's much sturdier. See, it has a lot more shape. Anyway, it's got a cute little zipper pull with paws on it. I like it a lot. Okay. Come on, I was just using you. It is. All right. Now I can mark the middles, but it's unnecessary when the zipper is the same length. So after I put the first one on, I'm just going to match everything to that. So this is the top gusset. So I'm going to match, or I should say it's an outside gusset. So I'm going to match that to the top of the zipper. And then a lining is going to go right side down against the same side of the zipper. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. Sandwich. And then we're going to stitch it down. I like to sew with the right side of the zipper up. And I'm doing 1/4 inch. And we'll see how that turns out. Fold both of these out away from the zipper, like that. And I'm going to top stitch along that side. And really, sometimes it's just easier to clip these together than to try and get them to stay. And amazingly, it works. The edges, clip the edges together. That way when I'm sewing along, I can pull them at the same rate because they're already clipped together. Because I don't want to be stitching along here and having this over the zipper getting sewn into the zipper. That's bad. Zippers don't like to work when they have fabric sewn into them. Okay. Top stitch seam allowance is bigger. Oh. Try again. Okay. See the top stitching there. And this is, everything goes together, so it all stayed out of the zipper. Where the heck did that come from? Okay. And we're just going to do the same thing to the other side. And then put the lining on the bottom side. So again, the tape is unnecessary. You could just pin and baste it on there, and then I should say baste, pin it, clip. Can't use pins with vinyls. Clip and baste the top one on, and then turn it over and clip the bottom, and then sew it on. But I have found that these materials like to slip, and this just ensures that you have the equal distance from the zipper pull. Pardon me. Oh. Shh. The only bad thing about having my mic right here is that I couldn't go in there and yell at him because you'd hear everything I said anyway. Okay. I think I finished what I was saying. Fabric slips. Yeah, all that. That is good. Very good. You know, I was mentioning the other night when I was making those beauty bags how it's easy. I get more done when I'm live. Yeah, I figured it out. It took me, I would think I was online for about 2 hours, and I got 2 of those bags done. And then I got offline and I turned on some TV, and I got 1 more done, and who knows how many hours. I started on the last one, but I didn't finish it. So when people ask, how long did it take you to make something like this? It's really difficult to say because I get so distracted. Speaking of distracted, I might have to close my door if he can't stop making noises. He's just very vocal when he's thinking of anything. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to go down both sides of the open edges to baste those down. I might start here. All right, one zipper panel, all done with no zip pulls yet. I'm going to measure this, and it is indeed bigger than the bottom gusset because I used a bigger seam allowance on my zippers. So I'm going to go trim, which should be 1/8 of an inch off of each side because I used a 1/4 inch instead of a 3/8 inch. So I'll be right back. Boy, I tell you, this. I know this is navy, but it looks pretty close to black. And cutting on a black mat, trying to measure 1/8 of an inch off of each side, a little challenging. But let's see. Yay! It matches. Okay. Very good. Oh, but we don't want to forget the zipper pulls. Every bag maker that I've ever talked to has done that, where they sew it all together and they realize they don't have any zipper pulls in there. I know, because we instantly go post it on a site and we get lots of sympathy when we do that, because everybody's done it. And this bag, I think it has in the pattern, yeah, it's a double zip, which was my plan anyway. And so with these, we're just going to put one on each side, and they come together in the middle. Come on. I never have so much trouble with zippers unless I'm on here. Usually they just go right on. Part is I don't have enough. Why aren't you going in? That goes on. That side is a little stickier, but it's going in. You get zipper tape and zipper pulls from all different places, and usually they go together just fine. But every once in a while, like somebody bought some that were cute, but they didn't check to make sure they were working. Come on. Huh. It doesn't like this left side. It's too late to change out my zipper tape. I might have to pick out some different pulls. Go on. Well, I think it's on now. Seems to be working. Oh. And then I sewed over this one, I remember. Gonna get all the stitching out of that zipper. Oh, I just hope I can get my zipper on. Sometimes sewing over them distorts them a little bit. It's uneven, but it's going. Uneven the other direction. I'm telling you, these zipper pulls are the coolest thing. Zipper tape and pulls. Sorry. One side wants to stick up further than the other, which is not a good thing. Not gonna have happen. That's still crooked. Finally. Okay. They come together. No bubbles. If one of them was crooked, you'd have a bubble on one side or the other. So that's good. Sheesh. And then I believe we're just going to sew the gusset on. Or the bottom gusset. Mm-hmm. So outside to outside. Pardon me. That's what I get for drinking a soda right now. I have some clips over here that clip a little stronger. So I put the right side of that against the right side of that. Right side of the lining against the right side of the lining. And we're just going to sandwich that zipper panel in the middle. Then we're going to sew across. Regular stitch length. Flip them both out and top stitch. On the bottom gusset section, not the zipper panel, with a top stitch seam. This pattern is very detailed. If you ever want to make this, the pattern covers everything. Okay, so now to the other side, so we can make our little circle gusset. Now to get this to fit here, we're going to roll that up and put this on the other side here. Okay. Kind of turn everything around so you can get these two pieces ready to top stitch. And in order to put this on, we're going to want this floppy piece to be basted together also. So which way is less play? Too much play. So I'm just going to clip it together and I'm going to sew it this way. Just baste these sides together. So you have a full gusset, just a big circle without any of these floppy pieces. And I want to kind of stretch it to make sure everything matches up at the end here. We don't want any puckers or anything like that. Which I got. This Smoothie Smooth is not a stretchable fabric. So even though I was stretching, trying to get it, I still got a pucker. See my little pucker? I don't like that pucker. It's time to meet with Jack again. I don't understand why it did that. But this is all part of bag making. Actually, it's part of sewing. That's my mom. She used to joke that she used her seam ripper more than her sewing machine. That's how she felt anyway, because she felt like she was ripping out so much. And fortunately, this is a basting stitch, so these holes are all going to be inside a seam allowance eventually. When I say holes, I mean every time you sew on vinyl, it makes a hole. I don't think that was completely accurate about her using the seam allowance more than the sewing machine, but after a while, you just get so tired of making mistakes. It's like, man, I'd just like to sew something and get it right. But she was also sewing clothes. I don't know if you've ever sewn clothes, but I think they try to make those instructions complicated. You got to know the lingo. So I have all this excess. It's the same size when I start. Why? Yeah. I used to make clothes when I was younger. Yeah, me too. Mine weren't younger. Yeah, me too. Mine weren't anything special though. I found a pattern for a shirt and a pattern for shorts, and I made lots of pairs of the outfits, the same color. Everything was the same color. Lots of different sets that were different colors, but each set had the same color top and the same color bottom. It was, would you say one of a kind? I don't know. Mine, I think somebody could have copied mine pretty easy. I just laugh when I think about wearing those because I also had not Keds, but Ked-like shoes. And I even tried to match those. No complimenting colors, just everything matched. Yeah, no, see, I'm not that creative. Well, not when it came to clothes. Monochrome is a thing. No. I didn't say. Yeah, no, it. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't care at the time. I thought it was cool. I was making my own clothes. Again, they weren't like anything special, but I made them and I wore them. And at the time, we didn't have tons of money, so like to the point where I remember going to like church camp whenever, and I just open my drawers and take everything I had and put it in the bag because I didn't have more than what was necessary for a trip. So I think I just thought it was pretty cool. I got to make clothes and we didn't have to go buy them. Okay. Using Jack the Ripper here does not always require you to go all the way back to where you were, but I was just unsatisfied with my I'm going to pin these a little, not pin, be a little more forceful here. Yeah, I know. I get that. It was a different time then. And we still had Joann's then, which is going away. But we also had, I think we had a Hancock's in Hazeldale. I don't know if you know where Hazeldale was, but I think we had options. But I think they're all closed now. Craft Warehouse has some fabric, but they closed some of their stores. Hobby Lobby has some fabric, but very limited. Let's try this again and tell it who's boss. I'm going to use a I would much rather get a little bit of a pucker in the middle because it will probably be hidden in the seam when I sew it to the bag. I don't want it at the end where my gusset reaches the zipper gusset. All right. I think it's looking better. Yay, I made it. One side done, and it's just a baste. That's crazy. Oh. Yeah. I don't remember it very much. I don't think I was... Well, when you're not driving and making decisions as to where you're going to go buy fabric, I wasn't exactly buying the fabric myself. All right. A zipper gusset. My microphone scared me for a moment. Like something black. Okay, that's okay. It's just a microphone. Oh, they're telling me I need to mark the centers. So put the seams together here to mark the center up here. And the same down here. Mm-hmm. And the other side. That's what I thought. There's something big and black right there. It's going to take some getting used to, I think. And I switched shirts several times trying to find something that it would. I had on like an overshirt, something like this, but a little sturdier. And so I could clip it onto that and it stayed fine. And then I read the instructions. There's actually a magnet that I can pull or slide off the back of this and put it inside my shirt. So it's just hanging there with a magnet. Works a lot better than because I kept trying to clip it here and it was like flopping and yeah. Okay, middles are marked. Next. Now we get to do the front pocket. It's so exciting. So we're going to put right sides together. Right side together. These pieces have like little corners here that's where we're going to start stitching. We're going to go up and over and then end at this little corner here. I honestly didn't do that. I thought about it as I was running up the stairs. I'm like, oh man, she's going to accuse me of matching my fabric again. That's funny. Yeah. So this pattern uses the word baste a lot, which I think they actually mean sew. Because you generally don't baste something together and then flip it and top stitch. You sew it together. Interesting. It's just the way they use it. But I am going to make it a smaller stitch length. So you're going to sew it together, starting where I said there at that little corner. So you can see how I started on that corner, went up and around, stopped at that corner. And we're going to trim it down. So trim about half of this off because we're going to turn it around. We don't want a lot of bulk in that, in the middle. Flip it around. There was a bug in here. It's just a little, I don't know, mosquito. Can't have that. Like a moth. All right, so I just made the realization that this is going to be top stitched before I put it on the bag. And I do not want black stitching on here. I'm kind of picky that way. So I'm going to go find some thread. Hopefully I have a bobbin that will match. Even white would be better than the black. I think that matches pretty good. So I'm going to switch out my bobbin for this top stitch. Because even though it's not technically the front of the bag, this is the front of the bag, it is going to be exposed. You know, every time you look down, you're going to see that. So I'd rather have it not be black. So we're going to top stitch same corner to corner, but they also want us to then baste around the whole thing. So basically, so you just have one piece. So I'm actually going to put some more clips here. Speaking of the stitching, talking about basting or sewing, she has some references at the beginning of the pattern that should be helpful. And realistically, she tells you what stitch to seam allowance to use. Anyway. right, so the outside matches and the inside matches. Very good. Oh, my directions have a big old label, handwritten. It says add label, and I didn't add my label. Got me monologuing. Okay, no biggie. This is a basting stitcher on the bottom. I'm going to use my little Jack the Ripper, undo a little piece there, and get this label added. So where do I put it though? Let's see. Here or here? Maybe down towards the bottom. So if you look at the picture, should it be like down here? Here? I'm thinking because of where my little ribbon flowers are, I should put it down here. New holder. Is it that late already? It's getting that late. Okay, I need your opinion. You're supposed to answer me now. I think I'm going to put it down towards the bottom. All right, no big. Good. Bottom it is. So I'm just going to mark the center of this bottom. I used to leave the piece of plastic on, but I noticed that it's giving me false measurements, like where it was actually level. It wasn't showing true. So, all right. So I want this guy here. Looks so cool there. So I want it there. Okay. So I'm going to mark there. I am glad to hear that holder works well, because I actually ordered one for myself too, but it's not going to be here till Monday. Because I'm hoping to figure out a way to get a camera overhead for some actual instructional videos, the kind where I can cut out that kind of stuff and all the seam ripping and, This is where it gets a little tricky. Don't want to go through both layers. Okay. I'm going to put some backing behind this interfacing, heavy duty interfacing. Because this fabric is not real sturdy. At least not for these heavy labels. Yeah. Okay. That's very good. Very good. Okay. Can't really see. Ta-da. All right. Just gonna put my little piece of tape on there so those prongs don't rub against the other fabric here. Did I disturb you, kitty? It's not as easy as the rest of it. The tape. Yet. Okay. Prongs are covered up. Now, I'm just going to sew that little basting stitch back down and move on to the next step. All right, so now we go to the front panel. This front panel. Okay. Which is the one that looks black but is actually navy. Rolling off this thing. Okay, and then so there's no set measurement here. It's basically attach it with clips at the bottom. And we're just going to use a ruler here to make sure it's straight at the top. Because if it's going to be crooked at all, better to be crooked on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple clips. Make sure it's straight here. It looks pretty straight. Okay. So this gets another basting stitch. Yeah. No worries. I understand. I'm just glad you're watching or keeping it on in the background. So I don't feel like I'm talking to myself completely. Oh, I don't think I asked you anything. I think the last thing I asked you was about where to put that. I'm going to go back to black. Stay. And because I know my seam allowance here is going to be larger than what I'm basting, I'm trying to baste on the inside of the last stitch. Because the less you can stitch in the same line, the better. And there's your pocket on the front. Isn't that cute? See? Phones fit perfect. Okay, next. So they even have instructions on how to do this if you're making this a clear pocket. So that might be kind of fun to try. On the back panel, we're going to get the those little D-ring holders put in, and it's considered a hidden connector because it goes into the fabric instead of being sewn right on top. But that requires me to mark out those spots on this back panel. Like this. And I'm going to cut holes right where those are. So I'm going to use this and my little X-Acto knife. And cut right where I marked. On both sides. And now I'm going to clean off that that pen I used because it's just going to confuse the matter. Okay. Can't see them because they've been cut. Little holes. All right, so we're going to take these two little things that we prepared earlier. And we need the two other 1-inch D-rings. Just make sure I'm doing this right. So from one side, I can do this. If I put it over here, maybe you can see me. So this is the bottom and this is the top. So from the back, I'm going to take this upside down and stick it in this little, oops, corner didn't get, oh goodness. There we go. This should slide right in here. Oops, I turned it over while I was cutting that. It should go in wrong side up. Let me just refresh myself here real quick. Yeah, sew it there. Yep. Okay. Pull it in. Okay. It's a little tricky, and I'm sorry that this is practically black on black. So you're going to stick it through the front with the wrong side up, because eventually you're going to slide that in there. Yeah. Okay. So then when you turn it over on the back, you've got a little piece sitting out here, and you're going to sew right here, right up next to the edge, and you're not going to go above or below where that piece is. So make it a small stitch and be precise. Okay, so when you turn it over, it's sewn on there, but that it's so hard for me to see. It didn't sew through the flap. It only sewed because it was right next to it. There are other videos on YouTube that help explain it better. Then you're going to stick your little D-ring on. Then you're going to fold this over and put it through the same hole that it went through, but now it's right side showing. And you're going to pull it through. I feel like this really could have used a little bit of stabilizer. Well, so now so you pull it as tight as you want, so that it still lays flat, but it doesn't have a lot of extra here. And then you're going to turn it over this way. So this is the side you sewed the first time. So this is the side you're going to sew on this time. And you're going to, again, sew on that little tiny flap only. So pull both of these away. Sew on that little tiny flap. See that little flap sticking out there? That's what you're going to sew on. And you are right up next to your hardware there on the other side. So put it where you can get as close as you can to that hardware. And it is not going anywhere, and it's barely showing anything. So it's typical to even up these pieces here in the back and then put a rivet through right here just to hold everything down and together. But I think I'll do the rivet the same time I do the other side. All right. Wrong side up. Stick it through to the back. Make sure all of your cuts actually connect first. Okay. Turn it over. I'm going to sew right here, little tiny line. As close to the edge as possible. As close to the edge as possible without stop rolling. Okay. D-ring. Put that in there. Push that back through the top. And here, you're trying to get them to match how much is sticking out. Turn over. Flip everything and sew right there. And I'm just going to make a little dot. Equal distance from each D-ring. This time I'm going to do it, looks like about a ½ inch away is a good spot. Make sure I'm going to catch the back on both of those. I'm going to go poke holes in my 2 rivet spots and put in some rivets. So again, these are all sewn in, but this is just one extra piece to make you feel better. So punch a hole, rivet goes in the front, piece on the back. Okay, I'm gonna go clamp those down. All done with the bottom back. Now, I'm assuming, yeah, we're not going to do that. Oops. All right, so the last, this is the next step that they would do in the pattern. Cut out a little piece here and put where you're going to put the bottle holder, but we're not going to do a bottle holder. We're going to do just a regular zipper. So, need these guys. Zipper, pull, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the seam allowance so I know where it will be sewn. Okay. Because I'm going to get real close to the edge, I just want to make sure that I'm not too close to the edge. Yep. I think these are squares. So I don't have to worry about which direction is at the top. So on the wrong, let's see, do zippers. Where's my zipper? It's the same size. So your zipper one, you need your zipper the same size as the zipper lining, but you're going to cut your hole 3/4 to an inch in on both ends. So if this is 8-inch, I think it's 8-inch. Yeah. So I have 8-inch and then I have an 8-inch zipper. So I'm going to make my hole 6 inches. Yeah, 6 inches. And then I need a 1/2 inch for a number 5 zipper. So 6 inches long with a 1/2 inch hole tall. And I don't want to get too close to the seam allowance. close, but not too close. Because I want to be able to use most of the back of the bag. I want to be able to have it go all the way to the other side. But again, I don't want that edge to be too close. So where is... But I'm going to draw the hole on the back of this. I will show you. I'm going to, let's see, I've got plenty of room on here, so I'm going to do an inch down to start the first line. And then I'm going to do half an inch past that. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to sew on this, and it's on the back side. So I'm going to inch down. So there'll be that play. And then a half inch further will be the other side of the zipper hole. So an inch down and a half an inch. And then I'm going to take an inch off of both sides to make a box. Box. Mm-hmm. And then I have to figure out where. So I'm going to end up sewing over this whole square box once it's on here. So I'm going to go through both layers. So I kind of need to figure out how to set this. Don't want to run into the hardware. I want to have a little bit of space. I think this is where I'm going to put it. I got some paper tape here. I'm going to tape it to the vinyl in a couple places. Just to verify. I think I want it a little bit further in. Okay. Now there's usually have a bigger piece that you can tape this to, but I've got a lot of play here. So what I'm going to do is I have some magnets here. These are Sewcialize. They have 2 pieces, and I just keep them on this piece of wax canvas so I can get them apart because they're very strong. And I'm going to lay a couple of them right underneath here so I can keep this in place while I'm sewing. Oops. And let's see, I think I might have a little bit of room up here. I might try one more at the top. Definitely don't want to sew through these. I mean, you wouldn't be able to sew through it. It would jam up your machine. Okay. So I am going to put it on a tiny stitch, I still have this fuzz, about a 4 on my machine, but that's an industrial machine, which is different because I used to have a domestic, and 4 seemed really big, I think. Anyway, I'm going to stitch all the way around, getting very precise corners here. Yeah. So, tiny stitch. Probably going to go less than 4. All right. Take everything off. Make sure there's no residue. From the tape, not the magnets. All back in happy. All right, so the next thing, I apologize, I say so all the time. It's driving me crazy. The next step, we're going to cut a hole. And I don't draw lines anymore, but what you want to do basically draw a line down the center, and when you get to each corner, you're going to make the little V in the corner. Then you're going to cut that. Some people use scissors. Some people will start it with a ripper. I use X-Acto knife, but whatever you do, you want to get as close to the corner as possible without breaking the stitch. Don't cut the stitch. It's a problem. Don't cut it. So I just pull this up, make a big cut down the middle. It's best if it's, equal, but it's not going to kill anything if you're not right smack down the middle. And then I make my little corners to meet that slice down the middle. Doing my very best to get in those corners without cutting the stitches. If you do cut your stitches, because I've done it, I stick it back on the machine and I redo those corners because I got to have stitches that aren't cut. it doesn't work. And same thing at the other end. And this is why sewing all the way into the corner is best, because if you round those corners at all, you can't cut into the corners without cutting those stitches. Okay. So cut corners. And now's the fun part. Now you're going to stuff it all through that hole. Oops. Midsection didn't get all the way through. There we go. Stuff everything through to the back. All four sides. And you're going to do everything you can to get these seams to be flat. And you can't use clips here because you got the other half that is going to be in the way. I've done it. Clip. Clip seems great until you're trying to work on the top edge and you got these clips in the way. But sometimes they're still helpful. A temporary. What works best is ironing it flat. And generally you don't want to iron vinyl. That's bad. And the bonded poly. Well, I just don't like to iron anything without protection. So here's the hole. I've got everything pushed to the back, but I'm going to take this to the iron and try and get it flat. So I'm going to turn it on a medium. And just keep working it until you're satisfied that the lining is showing little to none on the front. I'm going to wipe off this again. Well, apparently there's not enough left on it. The silver pin that I'm wiping off, it comes off vinyl like great. It's really nice for marking and it wipes off the vinyl, but if you leave it there too long, it likes to stick around. Okay. And one of the things about these zipper pockets is you almost have to just try it to understand why people say get into the corners, because it just doesn't seem that necessary until you figure out, oh, the corners won't lay down very well, will they? So I usually try and get some good heat on here as all possible. And then I'm going to stick it under this wood clapper that is gonna, let's see, how do I explain this? The heat goes into the clapper and everything is flat, flat, flat because it dried or it cooled off in that flat state. It's very helpful in some ways. And I got these clappers I have various ones and sizes. It's really nice to have multiples, but I got those when I was quilting, because if you do blocks that have lots of little pieces or lots of seams, and it's really hard to get the whole thing to stay flat, to put into another piece or something. If you iron it, get it good and hot, then you put a clapper on it, the wood piece, and then it cools in that state. It's amazingly extra flat. Okay, while that is cooling off, I'm going to take the zipper and more double-sided tape. I like my double-sided tape, but I'm just going to use the little skinny 1/8 inch one. And I'm going to put it on here before I put the zipper on, because I don't like that bulge that the zipper makes, and it's hard to have a straight line. Double-sided tape. Now with my zipper on, I think it's these poles. They are just not. Oh, you know what? I have used the same zipper tape all tonight too, so it could be the tape. The one zipper inside actually has a different pull, so we'll find out if it has the same trouble. All right, it's on. And when I put this on the bag, I want to make sure that this is going up so that at the top it's closed, and when I pull it down, it opens. Okay. All right, so that's what it looks like. Sometimes it's just impossible to get that inside to hide, especially when you're using fabrics that you just can't press them with good heat. I am going to change my bobbin again when I do this. But the last step here is I'm going to lay the zipper down. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to undo the double-sided tape, and I'm going to match the sides here underneath, make sure that it's centered that way, and then I'm going to make sure it's centered in the middle here. Don't like how much blue is showing. I think I'm going to try the iron one more time and push it underneath a little bit more. It just wants to sneak up there. This smooth bonded poly can take a good amount of heat. Ouch. So I'm going to do it one side at a time, since it's given me trouble trying to do both of them. And really, the iron is not flattening it. Really, I'm just trying to get it hot. so that this piece of wood sitting on it will make it flat. Okay. Let's see what's... And then we're going to do... sew that on. See, nothing too difficult yet. This is probably the most difficult part, only because we don't have real instructions. I'm just making it up as I go. I don't think it helped today. There's still lots of blue showing. Rufus. Psst. Oh. The cat just stole a pen that he's now chewing on. I think next time I will do a matching, because it's supposed to be kind of a hidden pocket. I think I will do matching fabric for the outside or for the inside so that I don't have to worry so much about it showing. This is... it's very obvious that there's blue on the inside. Not my favorite. Well, I didn't say that right. I like the blue. I just don't want it to be that obvious. And you can almost never get it perfect. So I'm going to put something on here that's heavy while I change out my... that's not heavy. Change out my bobbin. Because this is, again, inside of a zipper pocket. I don't want it to be black on blue, light blue. And what do we got? Not very much. Nope. No worries. I had an extra. I know a lot of people that only wind bobbins for each project. I find it so convenient sometimes to have these bobbins ready to go that every project I start, I usually wind up 2 or 3 bobbins, even if I know I'm only going to use 1 or 1.5. All right, so I'm going to make this... I don't make this a top stitch. I just make it, because I'm still trying to get around a little tiny thing and I want to make sure I have good corners. So I'm just going to do a regular stitch, which is bigger than what I used to make the hole, but smaller than a top stitch. And this. D-ring. this is a brighter fabric, I might keep the threads long and tie it off in the back, but this is the back of the bag. It's very dark navy and I'm using black thread, so I'm just doing the back stitch. Not going to go through all the trouble of tying it in the back. But I don't usually start and stop at the very same spot. I will go past the first back stitch so that I'm back stitching a little past it. Okay. Not too shabby. I could have done black. Look at that. The zipper on the back is black. Oh well. It's okay. The front doesn't look too bad. A little bit of blue showing, but that's okay. And it opens. Very good. I'm happy with it. Now I'm going to take the other half of it and I'm going to sew it all together. But I think I'm going to try and get my zippers clipped here a little bit, zipper tape. Get it clipped so that it's not hanging over the edge. And cook them a little bit. Melt them, not cook. And we're not turning anything through this, so we're gonna sew all the way around. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to baste along this side and then I can trim that. And I'm going to baste, what I'm going to do, I'm going to baste this edge and this edge, and then I will turn it around and baste along these edges, and then I will cut off excess. But for ease, I'm going to baste, and then turn it over. Just do whatever works for you. This is... So I'm going to lay it here, flip this up, and do this. Yeah. Sew the tops and bottoms. Those need to be sewn down, not just basted. Because those are the sides of the pockets. I want to make sure those are going to stay. Okay. A little bit bigger stitch, just because I'm basting along here. Okay, then I'm gonna trim these edges. Now it's all one piece. Zipper pocket in place. And I want to mark the top here, top center. Because we also need to put this little guy on there. And I'm going to just mark a center line here. I think. And put it right there. All right. We have a full back panel that has a clip for the strap and two options. They're both folded in. Two options for it to clip on the sides. And then we have a nice big pocket here. Takes up almost the whole back. All right. Front and back. We're making progress. Now we have insides. So I can't really tell you the dimensions because you can read the pattern, but we're going to draw a similar box for the zipper right here in the middle. And I'm going to do it up here a little bit. but to make the center, make it in the center, I'm going to mark the edges here. And I'm doing it on the back. I'm doing it on the back of the lining. The box starting, I'm pretty sure I'm down on the lining. They have a back fabric showing. It doesn't say. It probably doesn't matter, actually, because you're going to turn it one way or the other. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But when you sew them together, you need to have your right sides together. And we'll sew the box. We'll see. We'll do the sewing together. I just got to draw the box down here. Let's see. Use this. This should be easier to turn the inside out, right side out, whatever. Anytime you have a zipper pocket in vinyl or something thick like that, it's just a little bit of a bear. But I think that pocket turned out pretty good. I definitely think I'll make a note in my pattern that if I'm going to do this zipper on the back, that I should use a fabric that matches the back fabric, which is most likely going to be dark, because even on the last bag I made the rest of it gray, but I put a black back on it because that's what was going to be against my body the whole time. So okay, let's sew up our zipper hole. Small stitch again. Kitty. My very nice, expensive sublimation printer sitting over there. He feels like he needs to crawl up there and sit on it. Hey. Psst. Oh, it's dark. I need to go close up the chickens. I know it's getting late, but anybody can watch this later. I just want to finish it on camera. All right. So front, back, got your little square. We're going to do the same thing, cut down the middle with the 2 V's at the going into the corners. And my thread was a bit tight this time. Okay, holes cut, and you can go either way. You're going to end up with them wrong sides together. See? Ta-da! A little more pushing and shoving. Okay. Okay. Without the zipper, you can pull the hole all kinds of places. So I just want to make sure I'm doing the next steps correctly. Okay, that. And the zipper. Oh. It's okay. I know it's kind of late for you. I knew this one was going to be longer, but I'd rather you come back and finish it than have to watch a second one. Okay, same thing. I'm gonna iron this out. Get my zipper tape ready. Oh. Same thing, double-sided tape on both sides. I'm going to add the zipper. Now this is a different pole. We'll see if it goes on any easier. Well, I got it on easier, but I actually think it's the zipper tape. It's a little stiff. Okay. Yes, works much better when you don't have a vinyl. I am going to change back to the black bobbin. Some people can just sew with the same color thread the whole time and it works for them. It looks fine. I just can't do it all the time. I try sometimes. I have to match if I can. Really, I just don't want it to stand out super bold. Black on light blue or vice versa. This one is not. I think I'll have this upside. So I'm going to have my zipper going to the left so that it will open from the left. Okay. All the way around again. I think I'm going to start on the other side though. That side will be inside the pocket. So I can do the back stitch and not have to worry about that showing right up front. Not that most people would see that inside the bag. Okay. So they say lay the zipper flat. I see some threads that need to be put in their place. Inner zipper pocket with zipper line flat. Okay, first they say trim down any excess zipper. No problemo, not much there. Then we're going to take one of the inside panels, lining panels, and this is going to go right there. Really? Like that. So I guess you take the inside one and line it up with the bottom. And then line it up on the sides. Okay. So I'm going to okay. So first they're saying the pattern says that you put the zipper in the middle. So instead of it being on the top, you're going to fold it back so that it's so the top of the zipper is right on top. Then you're going to lay it against one of the inner panels for the bag and line up the bottom, which means that you have to pull this top part up because it's hanging down further, and you want to line up the bottoms here with the bottom, and then make sure that when this is on the back, it's so floppy, that these are lined up equally because you have some overhang on both sides. So I'm going to fold up the top here, and I'm going to clip the inside of the pocket with the bottom edge of the lining panel. Just a couple clips, because then I need to close this and make sure that they're equally spaced on the sides, which doesn't look like they are. That one has 5/8. This one has, well, they are. What do you know about that? Okay, a couple more clips then. Make sure it stays there. And then I'm also going to take a ruler. Where's my ruler? And make sure it's, I want to make sure it's the same distance from here to the top as here to the top. So I want to make sure this is flat. There it is. Yep, looking good. Okay, I'm going to clip the sides now. Yikes. And there is a lot of overhang all around this thing. So I'm actually clipping it from the back side so that I can stitch around here. Because if I try and sew it from the side, I won't be able to see anything I'm doing. And once it's basted on there, I can go around and clip these off. Clip the excess, something like that. Okay, that's enough clips. Oh, they're saying don't baste it yet, just trim. Huh. Okay. I have to baste it. I'm not gonna be able to hold it in place if I don't baste it. But I'll baste it close to the edge because I think I'm gonna end up basting it again or sewing it, something like that. Yeah. All right. Now that it's basted in place, I can trim it and not have to worry about it moving. Now we put it against the back panel, wrong sides together. So we've got the back panel on one side and the inside of the back panel on the other. And now we're gonna, seems to me like we should be sewing this, not basting it. They're still using basting, which I think should be sewing at this point. I just think that they use different, I don't know if the person that wrote this is possibly foreign. Sometimes the translations mean different things. But they wrote back right away when I asked. Could be basting when I think about it, because we still have to sew on the gusset. And actually, I've been on for over 3 hours. I think I need to go. And because I need to sew these together, put the gusset on, and bind it. And realistically, it seems really simple, but it could take another hour. And that's plenty for another live sew. That way I can go take care of my chickens and let Dee Dee go to sleep if she's not already there. Tomorrow is shopping day, so maybe I'll get on like in the middle of the day. Wouldn't that be interesting? It's so pretty. It's inside and the back. I still have to do the strap too. Yeah, it's good. Okay, I'm gonna go. Sorry for knocking that. Oh, I don't have my mouse here. Thank you for watching. I hope you are inspired to try this, even though people have made lots of bags. They still make mistakes and they still use seam rippers and struggle with zippers. Yeah, but I still have a lot of fun and I love making bags, and I just hope other people will be inspired to do the same. So, good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.